Hello everyone, and I welcome back to our program on Kargil Vijay Diwas celebration. I wish you all once again a happy Kargil Vijay Diwas, and I welcome all the officers of other flight and cadets for this program. Now, before proceeding for this program, we'll take the national pledge and then we'll carry forward with this program. I'll just share my screen. Hope you all can see the screen.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So all cadets will read out after me. So kindly unmute your mic and you will read out after me this national pledge. Are we good to go? If anybody has any questions, I request them to mute. If some cadets, I repeat again, if some cadets have some background noise, please put on mute. Only cadets who are in the isolated place can unmute. Okay then. You all can see this national pledge?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, then go after me. Welcome to national pledge. India is my country.
India is my country.
All Indians are my brothers and sisters.
All Indians are my brothers and sisters.
I love my country
I love
I love my
I love my
country
country.
and I am proud of its rich and varied heritage.
and I am proud of its rich and varied heritage.
I shall always strive
I shall
I shall always strive
to be worthy of it.
to
to be worthy of it.
I shall give respect to my parents,
I
I shall give respect to my parents,
Respect to my parents,
teachers,
teachers,
and all the elders,
and all the elders,
and all the
and
elders,
treat everyone with courtesy.
And
and treat everyone with courtesy.
everyone with courtesy.
To my country and people,
To my country and people,
And people,
I pledge my devotion
I pledge my devotion
in their well-being
in their well-being
and prosperity alone
and prosperity alone
lies in my happiness.
lies in my happiness.
Okay, so that's it. That is our national pledge on Kargil Vijay Diwas. Okay, now I request Cadet Sneha Shri to take over.
Thank you, sir. Jai Hind.
Okay. Now put your mic on mute, all cadets.
Either I'll come back after hoisting the tricolor, or I will come back wrapped in it. But I will be back for sure. As quoted by Captain Vikram Batra, Paramvir Chakra, our heroes were victorious in the Kargil war, hence resuming the control of all territory south and east of the line of control which was established in July 1972, as per the Shimla Accord. The Kargil War, also known as Kargil conflict, was an armed conflict between India and Pakistan that took place between May and July 1999 in the Kargil district of Kashmir and elsewhere along the LOC. In India, the conflict is also referred to as Operation Vijay. The Indian Air Force's role in acting jointly with Indian Army ground troops during the war was aimed at flushing out regular and irregular troops of the Pakistani army from vacated Indian positions in the Kargil sector along the line of control. The cause of war was the infiltration of the Pakistani soldiers, disguised as Kashmiri militants, into positions on the Indian side of the LOC. The war is the most recent example of high-altitude warfare in mountainous terrain, and as such posed significant logistical problems for the combating sides. It is also the sole instance of direct conventional warfare between nuclear states. There were three major phases to the Kargil war. First, Pakistan infiltrated forces into the Indian controlled section of Kashmir and occupied strategic locations, enabling it to bring NH-1 within range of its artillery fire. The next stage consisted of India discovering the infiltration and mobilizing forces to respond it. The final stage involved major battle by Indian and Pakistani forces, resulting in India recapturing most of the territories held by Pakistani forces and the subsequent withdrawal of Pakistani forces back across the LOC after international pressure. The Indian Army launched its final attacks in the last week of July in coordination with relentless attacks by the Indian Air Force, both day and night, in the totally successful Operation Safed Sagar. As soon as the Dras subsector had been cleared of Pakistani forces, the fighting ceased on July 26th, the day since being marked as Kargil Vijay Diwas in India. By the end of the war, Pakistan had to withdraw under international pressure and due to pressure from continued fighting at battlefront and left India in control of all territory south and east of LOC, as was established in July 1972 as per the Shimla Agreement. The victory of the war was only possible through the valor of the soldiers of the armed forces. The 10 heroes of the Kargil war victory were Captain Vikram Batra, Lieutenant Balwant Singh, Grenadier Yogendra Singh Yadav, Major Rajesh Adhikari, Major Vivek Gupta, Nayak Digendra Kumar, Major Padmapani Acharya, Rifleman Sanjay Kumar, Lieutenant Manoj Kumar Pandey, and Major Saurabh Kalia. The Kargil War Memorial, built by the Indian Army, is located in Dras in the foothills of the Toluling Hill. The memorial, located 5 kilometers away from the city center across the Tiger Hill, commemorates the martyrs of the Kargil War. The names of the soldiers who lost their lives in the war are inscribed on the memorial wall and can be read by visitors. A museum attached to Kargil War Memorial, which was established to celebrate the victory of Operation Vijay, houses pictures of Indian soldiers, archives of important war documents and recordings, Pakistani war equipments and gear, and official emblems of the army from Kargil War. Today, in this program, we highlight the main events of Kargil War and the heroes of the war, whose brave efforts won our hearts and a great respect towards them. Now, I hand over the session to Cadet Vishwesh Bhatt. Thank you.
Thank you, LFC Snehashri. That was a very effective introduction. Now, just a minute.
Vishwesh, can you speak little loud? Hold your mic little closer.
Yes, sir. Is it audible now, sir?
Yeah, better. Can be still much better.
So now, is it audible to everyone now? So,
go ahead.
I wish everyone very happy Kargil Vijay Diwas. That was a very effective introduction by LFC Snehashri. Now I'd take pride to take the session further. I'd be posing a few questions that are very essential to be answered. The first question is, despite India was a peace-loving country, why did India see this war? To answer this question, we'll be considering a few factors which together will answer this question effectively. The first one is India's mindset. What was our mindset back then? As you can see the image over here, hope you all can see the image clearly on the screen.
Yes, yes, go ahead.
Our then Prime Minister Shri Atal Bihari Vajpayee ji had said, and I quote, "You can change friends, but not neighbors." This statement of Shri Atal Bihari Vajpayee ji reflects on the kind of mindset India had back then. We gave more focus on inter-country relations and signing pacts, inter-country trade, etc. Despite all these efforts, there was something else that was broiling in our enemy countries' minds. And what was that? What was Pakistan's intent? Pakistan's main intention, as usual, was to cause trouble, as we all know. But the main intention was to isolate Siachen from India. Why Siachen? Siachen is at a very high altitude. Siachen Glacier is the highest battlefield in the world, which is a fact. And you can see the numbers on the screen. That is the altitude of Siachen. And controlling the surrounding areas will be really easy when we are at a very high altitude. So this is why most countries want to have Siachen on their menu. Higher we go, larger will be the area of control. Now, there were other reasons, like Pakistan's vendetta to seek revenge for long-lost wars after independence. There were already two Indo-Pak wars that had happened before Kargil. One was in 1947 itself. That was the first Indo-Pak war. And then the second one was during the partition of East Pakistan from the current the Pakistan that we see now. And the Kashmir conflict. The Kashmir conflict is a very prolonged conflict which is being dealt with even today. Pakistan saying that Kashmir belongs to them. And India's move towards Siachen in 1984 also was a cause for this war. And why did Pakistan, the second question is, why did Pakistan choose Kargil as their point of operation if they wanted Siachen? Let's see the location of Kargil. Kargil is in Kashmir, as Snehashri had previously mentioned. And if we zoom in a bit, hope you can see the map over here. If we zoom in a bit, we can see that it is, hope you can see the cursor over here. Kargil is over here. The red pin over here is Kargil. And it is on the way from Srinagar to Leh. And the yellow strip of line you can see over here is NH1D. So let's see where Siachen is from Kargil. Yes, this is where Siachen is from Kargil. It is a few kilometers from Kargil, but I will give the reason why Pakistan wanted to target Kargil and then isolate Siachen from India further this session. The topography of Kargil, a wonderful place to look at, but cannot imagine a war situation in such an area. Due to the topography, it will be really hard. The peaks and troughs, and back then we did not have a high altitude warfare school in India. We established the school later in 2000 after realizing the challenges that we saw during the Kargil war. And war in such an area was new to us. Average elevation of this area is 8,780 feet. I would understand it like the height of all the hills divided by the number of hills is this number. And some of the tallest hills in this area, I would like to name Tololing, which is 14,000, nearly 15,000 feet.
I'm sorry to interrupt. Just hold on.
Yes,
Who is
sir.
Prithviraj Gowda? Put your mic
Yes,
on
sir.
mute. Okay, Vishwesh, carry on.
Thank you, sir. Tololing is one of those peaks that is one of the tallest, I could say, which is 15,000 feet, though there are taller peaks in this region. And what was Pakistan's action plan? Pakistan's action plan, I'm back to the map again, was to isolate Siachen from India by breaking off the connection between Srinagar and Leh, because prior to the war, Pakistani troops had monitored that Indian military forces were moving from Srinagar towards Leh. And I have also said that India had, I had not told it before probably, because India had taken control of Siachen in 1986. And in 1999, Srinagar, while the troops were moving from Srinagar towards Leh, they wanted to interrupt this movement and not let the Indian troops move towards Siachen Glacier or Ladakh. So this was their intention, blocking and cutting off the highway connecting Srinagar and Leh by intercepting intercepting the Indian troops in Pakistan had and cutting off their attack, cutting off them from Ladakh and
Though they lost,
hold on. They had planned it well, and Pakistan had an advantage in that area. What was Pakistan's advantage was that they were early to occupy the more strategic areas of Kargil. They had occupied the peaks already, and as you can see over here, most of the peaks, most of the mountains over here are bare. There is scarce vegetation, and you can easily observe the Indian troops coming towards the peak from the top. So they had located themselves in the strategic positions priorly. Yeah. Now coming to the war, I would give a few timelines. As I've said, why the war happened and what was the intent behind the war. I would give a few timelines now for the beginning of the war. On 2nd May, it was reported that there was infiltration on the inner side of LOC on India by a few Pakistani troops, official and unofficial troops. On 3rd May, Pakistani intrusion was reported by local shepherd Tashi Namgyal. Some reports say that it was on 2nd May, some reports say it was on 3rd May. And on 10th May, infiltrations first noticed in Dras, Kaksar and Muksho sectors. And between 3rd May and 10th May too, there were disturbances that were happening. On 5th May, after getting the news that there was infiltration in the areas, Indian Army patrol was sent up and 5 Indian soldiers were captured and tortured, because this Pakistani attack was very unprecedented. We did not know with what preparation the Pakistani troops had come in. So since there was less preparation, we sacrificed 5 soldiers there. And on 9th May, there was heavy shelling by Pakistani army that damaged many of India's parts. Shelling, when shelling happens from the top, it is really hard to take control of the top from the bottom. So that was the major challenge that India faced during this war. With this, the war started. And from the effective efforts that were put into operations like Operation Vijay and Operation Safed Sagar, India marked a significant win on July 26th, 1999. The war started on 3rd May and ended on July 26th. These were Bofor guns that were used, and this is the Air Force Jaguar. Okay, thank you. Now I'd be there were a few brave hearts on our side who clinched victory from the well-poised enemies by making the so thought mission impossible a mission possible. We'll be hearing a few inspiring stories about the war heroes from my co-cadets. Handing off the baton to Cadet Rubesh Murthy ji. Thank you.
Thank you, LFC Sneha and Vishwesh. It was a nice presentation.
Thank you, Vishwesh. Can everyone see my screen?
Yes, Rubesh. Go ahead.
Jai Hind, everyone. Today I shall be introducing you all to the living legend Subedar Major Yogindra Singh Yadav Paramveer Chakra. Now you may have a question in your mind that who is Subedar Major Yogindra Singh Paramveer Chakra? To answer this question, Subedar Major Yogindra Singh Yadav Paramveer Chakra is a junior commissioned officer in the Indian National Army, was awarded the highest Indian military honor decoration, the Paramveer Chakra, for his action during the Kargil war. He was aged 19 when he received the decoration.
Rubesh, can you speak a little louder and a little slow? You give some pauses because you're going very fast.
Okay, sir. Subedar Major Yogindra Singh Yadav Paramveer Chakra is a junior commissioned officer in the Indian National Army, was awarded the highest Indian military honor decoration, the Paramveer Chakra, for his action during the Kargil war. He was aged 19 when he received the decoration. He was the youngest person to be awarded the medal. Now let's look into the early life of Subedar Major Yogindra Singh Yadav Paramveer Chakra. Yogendra Singh was born on 10 May 1980 in the Ahir community of Sikandrabad in Aurangabad of Uttar Pradesh. His father, Karan Singh Yadav, served in the Kumaon regiment, participating in the 1965 and 1971 Indo-Pak wars. Yogendra Singh Yadav joined Indian Army at the age of 16 years and 5 months. Now let's look into the role of Subedar Major Yogendra Singh Yadav in Kargil war. Yadav enlisted with the 18 Grenadiers and was part of the Ghatak Force Commando Platoon, tasked to capture 3 strategic bunkers on Tiger Hill in the early morning hours of 4 July 1999. The bunkers were situated at the top of a vertical, snow-covered 1,000 feet, that is 300-meter cliff face. Yadav volunteered to lead the assault, climbed the cliff face and installed ropes that would allow further assaults in the future. Halfway up, machine gun and rocket fire came from an enemy bunker, killing the platoon commander and 2 other men in the crew. In spite of being hit by multiple bullets in his groin and shoulder, Yadav climbed the remaining 80 feet and reached the top. Though severely injured, he crawled to the first bunker and lobbed the grenade, killing 4 Pakistani soldiers and neutralizing enemy fire. This gave the rest of the platoon the opportunity to climb up the cliff of the field. Yadav then charged the second bunker along with the 2 of his fellow soldiers and engaged in hand-to-hand combat, killing 4 Pakistani soldiers. The platoon subsequently succeeded in capturing Tiger Hill. Though Yadav was hit by 21 bullets, he played a major role in its capture. This entire operation was named as Operation Vijay by Indian Army. Now let's look into the Paramveer Chakra citation of Subedar Major Yogendra Singh Yadav. According to the Paramveer Chakra citation on the Indian Army's website, Yadav displayed the most conspicuous courage, indomitable gallantry, grit, and determination under extreme adverse circumstances. He is one among the 4 Paramveer Chakra recipients for displaying indomitable gallantry during Kargil war. He is one among the only 3 living Paramveer Chakra recipients of the award. He is the only living legend of Kargil heroes. On behalf of 6 Kar Air Sqn NCC, we thank all the soldiers who served and sacrificed and to all those who are still serving so much for us. Next, one of my co-cadet LFC Shilpa Shri will be introducing the next Kargil hero. Over to LFC Shilpa Shri. Thank you.
Thank you, Rubesh.
Thank you. It was a good presentation, Cadet Rubesh. So, good morning, cadets and sir. Jai Hind. Leading
But
flight critic.
loud.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Am I audible now?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Better.
So, good morning, everyone. Jai Hind. Leading flight critic Shilpashri BR, on this special occasion, would like to share some information about a great personality, Captain Manoj Kumar Pandey, who is a great hero. He is one of the great heroes of Kargil War. So, coming to earlier life, Captain Manoj Kumar Pandey, born on 25th July 1975 in Rudas village and Kamlapur Tehsil of Sitapur district in Uttar Pradesh. So he born to Shri Gopi Chand Pandey and Srimati Mohini Pandey. So Captain Manoj Kumar Pandey was the eldest among three brothers and sisters. So even as a child, he was quite gutsy and would often amaze the elders with his act of bravery. Despite having gutsy temperament, he was good in academics too. He studied in Uttar Pradesh Sainik School, wherein his dream of joining the army took form, shape, and foundation of his future life was laid. He had a keen interest in sports too, and excelled in boxing and bodybuilding in particular. During SSB interviewer asked him that, why do you want to join army? So he immediately replied that he wanted to win Param Veer Chakra. So true to his words, Captain Manoj Kumar Pandey did win the country's highest gallantry award, but unfortunately did not lead to receive any person. So when we talk about military career, subsequently she got selected for National Defence Academy of 98 Corps and got commissioned to 1 by 11th Golkar Rifles of Indian Army, a unit which is known for its gallant soldiers and various heroic exploits. After commissioning, his first assignment was in Kashmir Valley, and thereafter he was posted to Siachen. Now we will know what was the role played by Captain Manoj Kumar Pandey during Kargil War. By early May 1999, Pakistan forces had entered well across LOC. So the Indian forces had no option but to send up the soldiers for direct assaults, which was slow and took a toll. One such mission was planned in Batalik sector, and 1 by 11th Gurkhas was assigned the task to take over Caliber. And we should also notice that it was among the first unit to be inducted into the sector. Earlier, Manoj was also a part of the team which had captured Jobber Top and established the first troop there. Now, Captain Manoj Kumar Pandey quickly moved his platoon to clear the enemy position from the right and himself proceeded to clear the enemy position from left. Manoj fearlessly charged ahead with a booming battle cry, saying Jai Mahakali Avu Gurkhali, clearing two enemy bunkers. While clearing third bunker, a barrage of bullets hit him on the shoulder and head. So without caring for his injuries, he continued and destroyed the fourth bunker. As he hit his target, he himself got hit in the forehead with a bullet. So Captain Manoj Kumar Pandey later succumbed to his injuries and was martyred at the age of 24 years. Finally, Cadet Manoj Kumar Pandey did win Param Veer Chakra for his outstanding courage, leadership, and devotion to his duty. After his death, as a PVC awardee, that is Param Veer Chakra awardee, his statues at the Param Yodh Sthal at the National War Memorial. So here we can see two entries in his personal, which is written by Captain Manoj Kumar Pandey. One is, if death strikes before I prove my blood, I swear I will kill them. And second one is, some goals are so worthy, it's glorious even to fail. So I would like to conclude, and it's over to LHC Kiran.
Thank you, Shilpa. Captain Vikram Batra, born on 19 September 1974 in Himachal Pradesh. At college, he joined the Air Wing of NCC Cadet Course. He was awarded Best Cadet in 2 consecutive rows before leading the NCC contingent in Republic Day Parade, 1994. He was the bravest of the brave who sacrificed this to give the life of his teammate during Kargil. On July 1st, 1999, his unit proceeded to recapture the first peak of utmost importance, as the cadet Vishwesh showed how much it is important. The point 5140, which was at an altitude of 17,000 feet. Upon reaching the point
Kiran, sorry to
5140,
interrupt you. Your voice is not clear. Can you speak it clearly?
yes, sir.
Yeah, now better.
Upon
Go ahead.
reaching the point 5140, leading a company of troops, he encountered the command of Pakistan. Back established on radio, the enemy command challenged him by saying, when you have come, Shersha, you will have a tough time. But Captain Batra, being the last person back away from the flight, he replied, we shall see within 1 hour who remains on the top. In a short while, Captain Batra captured and remains on the top. In a short while, Captain Batra and his company of troops killed 8 enemy of soldiers and more importantly, captured a heavy anti-aircraft machine gun. Neutralizing the advantages peak, mission point 5140 was a success. Soon after capturing point 5140, he radioed his commanding officer and said jubilantly, Hedil Mangem more. On the successful capture of the vital peak, he was congratulated and graced by the Chief of Army Staff, the General Ved Prakash Malik on telephone. He volunteered himself for the third crucial operation, recapturing the point 4875, which was at an altitude of 17,000 feet. In the battle, in the battle, one of his junior officers was seriously injured and immediately he went to his rescue and he continued with the attack. He eliminated the enemy and made the supreme sacrifice of losing his life for the nation. But not before hoisting the tricolor on the point 4875. I want to tell you one of the famous quotes. Either I will come back after hoisting the tricolor or I will come back wrapped in it. I will back for sure, Captain Vikram Batra. Thank you. Now I over to Cadet Shashank.
Jai Hind. Thank you, Kiran, for your amazing words. I, Kar Air Sqn NCC from Flight B. Today I am introducing the bravest officer of Indian Army, Major Rajesh Adhikari, Mahavir Chakra. Major Rajesh Adhikari was an Indian Army officer who laid down his life during the Kargil War. He was posthumously awarded second highest military honor, the Mahavir Chakra, on the battlefield. Talking about his early life, he born in Nathiala on 25th December 1970, Uttar Pradesh. Now it's belong to Uttarakhand. Born to father K.S. Adhikari and mother Malti Adhikari. Its basic education is completed in his native. He is completed high schooling from St. Joseph College in 1987, intermediated from Government Inter College, Nanchal, and graduated from Kumaon University in the year 1992 in the stream of Bachelor of Science. Major Rajesh Singh Adhikari was commissioned on 11th December 1993 from the Indian Military Academy. After graduating from academy, he joined the 2nd Mechanized Infantry of the Indian Army. He posted in 18 Grenadiers at the time of Kargil War. During Kargil War, he played a very well, bravest, courageous role. The Indian Army was ordered to clear the heights of those intruders. Many tough battles took place in the region. He had caused the heavy casualty to the intruders and forced them to withdraw before succumbing to injuries in the Dras sector. Finally, he captured the Dras sector in Tololing with his bravery and courage. It was one of the most significant battles, the Battle of Tololing, where Rajesh made a valiant sacrifices. On December 1999, sorry, on 13th May 1999, he martyred at the age of 28. He breathed a last breath in the Kargil. For his supreme sacrifices, he was posthumously awarded Mahavir Chakra, the second highest military honor. The golden word said by his mother was as follows: "Why should I cry? Everyone dying on the front is my son, and I pray that next time I get 10 sons, all for country." The supreme sacrifices of Major Rajesh Singh Adhikari was amazing, and thank you for that, every serving soldiers, and thank you. Jain. Over to next Sri.
Thank you, Cadet Shashank. That was an inspiring story of Major Rajesh. Wishing everyone a happy Kargil Vijay Divas. Now, I would be glad to share few facts about another Kargil hero, that is Captain Gurjinder Singh Suri. Captain Gurjinder Singh Suri, Mahavir Chakra, born on 4th July 1974, was an officer in the Indian Army who was killed in action in the Kargil War of 1999. He joined NDA in June 1997. He was commissioned in the Ordnance Corps and posted on attachment to 12 Bihar Battalion. During the Kargil War of 1999, Captain Gurjinder Singh Suri's battalion was deployed in the Gulmarg sector of Jammu and Kashmir at the Follad post at a height of 11,200 feet. On 9th November 1999, the post was attacked by the Pakistani army. The attack was repulsed and Captain Gurjinder Singh deployed his men to deal with any reinforcements or interferences. Subsequently, he launched an operation to clear enemy bunkers one by one, in which one of his soldiers was badly injured. He showed exceptional leadership and charged forward and killed 2 enemy soldiers and silenced an enemy machine gun. However, during the battle, he received a burst of gunfire in his arm. Ignoring his injury, he led his men and lobbed 2 hand grenades into a bunker. He then entered the bunker spraying the bullets, killing 1 more enemy soldier. At this point, he was hit by a rocket-propelled grenade and was critically injured. He declined to be evacuated and continued to exhort his men, till he breathed his last. In the operation, 17 Pakistani soldiers were killed and 14 bunkers destroyed. Displaying exceptional courage, Captain Suri was martyred at the age of 25 years in the service of the nation. He was awarded the Mahavir Chakra, India's second highest military decoration, posthumously for his leadership and bravery in that war. Thanking everyone, now I hand over the session to Cadet Samruddhi Bokar.
Thank you, LFC Snehashri. Jai Hind, sir. Freedom in mind, faith in words, pride in our hearts, memories of a soldier. A soldier fights not because he hates what is in front of him, but because he loves what is behind him. Kargil. Kargil is not a story of just winning. It's a story of pain and pride. A story of when you will win, have tears on joy with a smile. A story
Namrati,
where,
sorry to interrupt. Are you going to
sir,
present anything?
yes, sir.
It is not visible.
Uh, yes, sir. Is it visible, sir?
Yes, now it is visible. Yes, go
Yes,
ahead. Put it to full screen. Yeah, PPT. Yeah,
yes, sir.
better.
Yes. Kargil is not just a story of winning. It's a story of pain with pride. A story when you will have tears with a joyful smile. A story where death is not the end of a story, recapturing every inch of a mountain. I believe our flag is more than just a cloth and ink. It's a universally recognized symbol that stands for liberty and freedom. It is the history of our nation and marked by the blood of those who died in defending it. Remembering those such heroes, I would like to introduce to Nayak Digendra Kumar Mahavir Chakra, tributing to the true soldier. Introduction to his early life. Kumar was born on 3rd July 1969 into the Jatt family of Sukhwinder Singh and lived in the village of Jalhara, Rajasthan. He was a strong follower of Arya Samaj. Digender Kumar joined the Indian Army and was badly wounded in the Indo-Pakistan War of 1999. His role in Kargil War. Kumar commanded the light machine gun group during his company assault. Besides, the Kumar Commando team included Major Vivek Gupta, Subedar Bhavan Bhangwar Lal Bhankar, Subedar Surender Singh Rathore, Lance Naik Jasveer Singh, Naik Surender, Naik Chaman Singh Twatia, Lance Naik Bachan Singh, CMS Jasveer Singh, and Havaldar Sultan Singh Narwar. The Pakistan Army had made 11 bunkers on the Tolling hilltop. Kumar was to target the first and the last bunker. The other commandos were to target the 9 bunkers. On 13 July 1999, while nearing its objective, the assailtant group came under enemy fire and took casualties. Subedar Bunker, Lal Bhangar, Lance Nayak Jasveer Singh, and Nayak Chashman Singh were all killed. Major Vivek Gupta himself was killed by a bullet wound to his head. Although Kumar was hit by a bullet in his left arm, he kept firing on the enemy with his light machine gun. His fire facilitated his men's advancement, allowing them to physically assault the enemy position and clear the area after a hand-to-hand fight. He was responsible for killing 48 Pakistani soldiers single-handedly and received total 18 bullets on his body armor. Medals and awards. Mahavir Chakra. The national second highest wartime gallantry award, the Mahavir Chakra, was awarded to Kumar on 15th August 1999 for daring actions and war and service to his country during the Kargil War, specifically by occupying Tolling Hill. Other awards. Kumar was awarded with the Sena Medal in 1993 for his anti-terrorist operation in the area of Jammu Kashmir. In 1994, his service was appreciated for recapturing the Hazarabad shrine from the terrorists. He also took part in the Operation Pawan, which was held in the year 1987. He was also known as the Indian Rambo of Kargil War. Thank you. Over to Cadet Sharat Chandra.
Thank you, Cadet Samruddhi. Jai Hind and happy Kargil Diwas to one and all.
Sharat, can you speak little loud?
Yes, sir. So now it's audible, sir.
You have to hold your mic little closer.
Now, sir.
Yeah, on an average, okay. Go ahead.
Several heroes emerged during the furious
Sharath, not audible.
war. So now, sir.
Okay. You have to speak loud.
Yes, sir. Several heroes emerged during the furious Kargil war, while many of their stories were lost in the pages of history. We remember the story of one such unsung hero, Flight Lieutenant Kammampati Nachiketa. He was firing his powerful MiG-27 cannon at the enemy from 17,000 feet height. When his engine flamed out and he had to eject, unfortunately, within 30 minutes, he surrendered by the Pakistani soldiers. He was captured and brutally tortured for the information for several days, but Nachiketa did not speak a word. After 8 days of political pressure from the international media and the Indian government, Nachiketa was reported over the Indian border over the checkpost of Wagah. He was physically battered and had suffered a compression fracture to his spine when he met the media. Despite of several injuries and trauma he suffered, he recovered, retrained, and joined the transport fleet of Indian Air Force. He was awarded with Vayu Sena Gallantry Medal for his service during the Kargil War. We salute you, Flight Lieutenant K. Nachiketa, for your resilience and bravery. Thank you. With this, I would like to conclude. Over to you, Cadet Purti.
Thank you, Sharath. Jai Hind. I'm Cadet Spurti Vivi.
Screen share कर देते हैं, share problem.
Squadron leader Ajay Ahuja Veer Chakra was a fighter pilot of the Indian Air Force who was martyred in the year 1999, Kargil War in Kashmir. His death was the cause of the most angry public fire between India and Pakistan at that time. As a fighter pilot, he toured on MiG-23 fighter bomber and MiG-21 variants, as well as instructional flying experience of over 1,000 hours spent teaching pilots since the beginning. Squadron leader Ajay Ahuja was born in Kota, Rajasthan. He did his schooling from St. Paul Senior Secondary School, a renowned missionary school for boys. He graduated from the National Defense Academy and was commissioned a fighter pilot on 14 June 1985 in the Indian Air Force. He had only just become the flight commander of Squadron Number 17 Golden Arrows, a specialist recognized squadron when the Kargil War broke out in May-June 1999. On May 27, 1999, as a part of Operation Safed Sagar in Kargil, a photo reconnaissance mission was launched over the Indian side of the line of control in Kashmir. Just a moment. A member of the mission, Flight Lieutenant Nachiketa, ejected from his MiG-27 after the engine flame was out. Squadron leader Ahuja stayed over enemy positions to help the rescue attempts, knowing the full well existence of enemy surface to air the area. This was regarded as an act of great bravery in critical conditions. Nachiketa ejected to avoid crashing into snow-clad mountains before the engine could come back to power. He landed on snow and was soon surrounded by Pakistani soldiers. Armed with a handgun, he failed to counter their assault rifles and was captured and tortured by Pakistani northern people. However, squad leader Ajay Ahuja's MiG-21 fighter was hit by a shoulder-fired FIM-92 Stringer. Ahuja gave a radio call saying, "Hercules, I suspect a missile hit." Indian Air Force authorities lost track of his aircraft and all communication shortly afterwards. According to the data released by the Indian Air Force, Ahuja's aircraft had been within the India side of the line of control. A post-mortem examination conducted by Indian military authorities said that Ahuja had landed safely after ejecting from his plane but had been killed by the soldiers. The report revealed that Ahuja had been shot twice in the ear and the chest. In May 1999, India's Air Vice Marshal S.K. Malik had called Ahuja's killing a cold-blooded murder and an act of cowardice by the Pakistani army. On August 1999, India's 52nd anniversary of independence, squadron leader Ajay Ahuja was awarded the Veer Chakra, which is one of India's highest gallantry honors for military personnel. I hereby thank everybody, and it is my honor to for Vishwesh and Kiran with Rubesh to take over the next session.
Thank you, Spurti. Hope I'm audible.
If anyone has any question, you can ask here. This is basically a discussion session.
Now we'll be to keep the discussion on track. I'd be posing a few questions, and we'll be discussing on these questions. Can I present my screen, sir?
Yes, please go ahead.
Yeah. So the first question is, it was pretty obvious that Pakistan had an edge over Indian Army, Indian forces, because they had occupied these strategic locations priorly. And they had all the preparations that was made, they had all the gears and equipments with them. But still the number of martyrs on both sides does not convince us with this fact. We lost around 500 odd of soldiers from our side, and their number was a multiple fold of this number. Why do you think this happened? What was the reason? You can give your insights.
Any cadet are welcome to answer this. This is an open discussion forum. Okay. Yes.
Can I answer the question? Can I answer the question, sir? In my opinion, the Indian army was able to be so successful because they had spent so long in Kashmir. They were much more experienced in the terrain, and they knew what to expect from the local conditions. And since Pakistan was still newly occupied the terrain, they weren't as familiar or comfortable in this location.
Could be. This is a good insight. Does anyone have any other insights on this question?
Good, Manish. It's a good point.
Thank you, sir.
Any other insights?
See, we want to keep this session as interactive session. You all have seen how our heroes have been contributed to this country. So it's not only the Kargil. It is from 1947 onwards, all our heroes have been martyred and safeguarding our country. So now we are just remembering their sacrifices at this point of time. So at least we can pay little attention and have a fair discussion here. So anybody has anything to discuss, kindly come forward and discuss it. Yes, please.
Sir, according to my insight, Pakistan was never meant to win the war, but their intention was to purely disturb the peace of India. That's what my insight was. I might be wrong in some way, but what I think is Pakistan has constantly disturbed India's peace, but never tried to win the war. That wasn't their intention, I guess.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Winning a war. Yes, sir.
Yeah, go ahead, Vishwesh.
Yes. Winning a war is a very contradictory topic, because winning a war can either be getting what they want, that is Siachen was what they wanted, that they wouldn't get, but at least they could have caused more deaths on our side, and then they could have reverted back to their positions because they were in more strategic position. They were well settled in their positions with better all the armament with them, but they couldn't cause more deaths on our side, and the number of deaths was more on their side. And in terms of martyrdom too, they did not win the war.
Yeah, but the reason to come to this insight is like Pakistan is constantly trying to terrorize India, terrorist attacks on India, like Mumbai attacks, and the other things. So they are trying to interrupt peace of India. So that's what I think. If they wanted to win the war, they had utilized their resources on winning the war, rather than putting a bomb in secret.
That was a good
Vijay, next question.
My
okay.
thoughts.
Next question. Yeah.
So one of the main reason of our winning the war is our unity between the Air Force and Army. Air Force was very supportive towards the Army, and Air Force tried its best to do as much as possible, and our Army countered it attacks. So it may be the major reason to win the war.
Okay. Yes, that was a good insight. And can I move on to the next question?
I'd like to add one more point. The Pakistani army also failed to recognize that the Indian policymakers would order an attack on the southern sector. They didn't expect that Indians will attack from the other sector, but they were forced to dedicate the troops to the southern sector. It may be one of the failure. I'm not sure, but it might be one of the reason also.
Okay. Next question.
Yeah. How is India's outlook towards the forces different from other countries? because a small narrative before moving on to this question. In many countries, serving in the forces is a compulsion. If we see in China, it is compulsory for everyone to be a part of the force for at least a fixed number of years. But in India, nothing like that is there. It is purely voluntary decision that is taken up by the people of India to join the forces and support the forces. So to support the forces too, we have witnessed that in Kargil war, we had many localites of the Kargil area who helped Indian army to settle in their positions before the war began. What do you think about India's outlook towards the forces, Indian forces, different from other countries?
Vishwet Senior, these are our cultures which leads to us and like humanity and all. So we always remember our culture and we always try to help for our nation. So it might be one of the reasons.
That's a good point.
So my point on this, Vishwesh, is like every Indian has that passion towards the uniform. Everyone wants to have that kind of sense of the passion towards having that uniform, that respect, the kind of the respect which you get from public, and also to serve. Or every Indian is a patriotic and they want to do something. You ask anybody, any civilian.
Yes,
what do you want to be, how do you serve, then they'll say it's army. They join or doesn't join, there are other factors are also there, maybe the family issues. The other reason is the Indians are not free to take their decisions. It's all depends, it's a collective decision. In fact, there is a lot of families also play a vital role in taking decisions to joining. So there are factors, but still if they give an opportunity, then definitely they will say yes, we want to go for the defense. That is my point.
Yes, sir. Absolutely, sir. Any other insights?
Jayant, and also if you ask anyone, almost everyone, their first preference will be of defense.
Yeah.
I want to become an officer. They try their level best to join, I feel.
Yes. True. Any
Jen,
other insight?
yeah, I would like to, my insight would also be the government support towards the defense, how much they support, they promote, and the way they support the soldiers, be it army, navy, or air force, their support is always there. And hence the citizens also feel some kind of pride towards our defense.
Yes. Absolutely. And adding to the fact that there is no compulsion in our country to join the forces, the government does not force anyone to join the forces, which is why we are interested by ourselves to join the forces and support the forces wherever possible, and do what we can do. So, does anyone like to add to my point?
And yeah,
Any more
if they
insight?
force someone, it's like if they are not capable, also they'll have to do. But in India, they know that they can do, so they go.
Yeah, and the war stories, the inspiration that is being fed in also count. And
Yes.
yes, the India has also maintained the culture of storytelling, which is also adding to the building inspiration in the youth. Any more insights?
We can go for next question. How many questions we have?
I had prepared only two, sir.
Okay. So we are at the end of this session.
Yes, sir.
Okay, then I'd like to take over.
Yes, sir.
So thank you all the cadets for your efforts. It's really paid off. You have done an excellent show today. So all the you have discussed all the war heroes of Kargil Vijay Diwas, and you have nicely presented it. And you all make us familiarize with all their sacrifices to all the cadets of 6th Air Squadron. So now, cadets, the people out there wearing uniform, and even today, they're sacrificing their lives to safeguard our country. As a cadets, we have certain responsibility. As the citizens of India, we have certain responsibility. So the problem is that we all listen to these motivational lectures, everything, and that hangover goes off after 10 minutes. So as a cadet, I want you to carry over this hangover of patriotism, this passion, and I'm not telling you everyone should join defense. Yes, defense is one of the opportunity, but wherever you go, you be honest and be truthful to your work and do justice to your work. So that is what I appeal for all the cadets, because once a cadet is always a cadet. So now I request Flying Officer Alvin and the Officer Hiteshi to join with me and share a few words, their point of view on this occasion.
Good morning.
Yeah, Hiteshi, madam, please go ahead. Can you speak a little loud?
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear, but your sound is, it's low.
Okay, 1 minute. Okay, now?
Okay, go ahead.
Hello?
Yes, go ahead,
Okay,
please.
good morning. Good morning, all of you. And first of all, I want to thank Flying Officer Parvez for organizing this Kargil Vijay Diwas celebration, and all the cadets for really executing so perfectly, so nicely, and giving all of us a feel of this celebration. And it was very nice.
Hiteshi, madam, we can't hear you.
Yes, you couldn't hear
Yeah,
what I
now
spoke?
we can hear you.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Anything you want to address to cadets, to all the cadets?
Yes, let us have this feel continue with us, and also focus on whatever has to be done further, and give your best, cadets. Don't go to think much. Just live with the flow and give your best.
Thank you, madam. Now I request Flying Officer Alvin. Can you hear me? Yes, Alvin, please go ahead.
Good morning,
Good morning.
sir. Yeah, good morning, sir and cadets. So first of all, I wish all of you happy Kargil Diwas. So first of all, I thank Flight A with the leadership of Flying Officer Parvez, sir. It was indeed a nice program, informative. So myself and the cadets came to know about the war heroes, we can say. So I thank Parvez, sir, giving us an opportunity to join with your flight in organizing this program. At the same time, I wish that many more cadets from all the flights, flight A, B, C, come out as warriors. There may not be war-like situation today like Kargil, but definitely we do not know. In the future, we may get a chance. So if at all you're interested, give your 100% and join the army or join the defense. Okay? So thank you, sir.
Thank you, Alvin. Thank you so much. So we are all one squadron. We are all from 6 Air, and we have to uplift the flag of 6 Air Squadron. So all the cadets, I wish you all work collectively. There is nothing like A, B, and C. So we are all 6 Air under the command of Group Captain A.G. Srinivasan. So it's all his support and encouragement which led us to conduct this event. And I thank our commanding officer on this behalf. And with this note, I would like to conclude our session. And I once again thank all of you for taking time to join and making this session successful. Thank you once again, and thank you for all the cadets who have joined and also prepared, and the team which has made this session very effective. Thank you. Thank you so much.